The Philippines is an archipelagic country in Southeast Asia, consisting of 7,641 islands, categorized broadly into three main geographical divisions: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Philippines faces several challenges and issues across various sectors. Poverty remains a significant challenge, with a substantial portion of the population living below the poverty line.
One of the customs of the Filipino culture is to celebrate festivals. Its objective is to honor local history and culture, promote local products, or celebrate a bountiful harvest. Philippine musical instruments fascinate me, and I am inspired by how local Filipinos preserve and pass on their culture to the future generations. Art is the reflection of the world around you. That makes Philippines have color in our history, but it's really the art that colored it for us. Filipino people are very connected to nature. They draw all their inspiration, their spirituality from nature, and it's reflected in their work like in weaving.
Good morning, Philippines. Right now, we're here at Don Tenorio State Ventura University to conduct an interview to our fellow students and teachers. Some of my members went to their own barangay to conduct an interview on teenagers, elders, and to our professional and blue-collar workers to see and to hear all the thoughts of ordinary citizens regarding the situation of our country, whether the Philippines is truly fighting for. So let's get started.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be? And explain it why. 1 being not patriotic at all, 10 being extremely patriotic.
So actually, being patriotic, it's on a scale 1 to 10. So honestly, I rated myself 10, 10 over 10. Patriotism is very essential, especially in our country, wherein we supported a lot of politics or politicians. And also, we develop a lot of, we obey our rules and our laws to be safe and also to be guided by the guidelines of our government.
Next question po, what is the best way to give more attention to the grievances faced by the youth?
Attention for the youth. So, supposedly the number one issue nowadays is the pregnancy or early child pregnancy. So I think we need to consider we need to, as a teacher or as an instructor, physical education instructor, we need to orient the teenager, the youth or our youth, to be able to minimizing our population and also to achieve the dreams of the dreams. Kasi one of the factor that we consider that barrier in the dreams of the youth is the pregnancy.
Next question po, if you would give us advice, what advice can you give to someone for them to value the future of our nation?
So I advise to our future in our nation is keep and keep pushing and keep striving to our young generation. So being able to enable to support our country once you are a professional. So you pay a lot of tax, you pay a lot of you pay a lot of tax that the tax is very supportive in our population and also in our government. Like for example, is the institution, lahat ng mga buildings, lahat ng mga school program, doon ang galing yung mga budget natin.
Next question po, can you pinpoint any policies or decision made by the state that you consider mistakes, and how do you think they could be rectified or improved?
Um, so number one, issues in our government nowadays is the K-12 program or senior high school program that when the being was published at law. So order because there is a negative impact and positive impact that one of the positive impact is to preparing for the students. Kasi actually, kaya yan na-establish yung K-12 program kasi dahil yan sa littering ng mga students, no? Kasi marami na pa mag-iwanan. May mga estudyante na nagka-college na, basta or di pa gano'n ka-littering when it comes to reading, writing, o yung 3 years na tinatawag na reading, writing, and reading. May mga mahihina doon. So that's why na-establish yung K-12 program or senior high school. But, yung negative factor naman, hindi tayo ready. Hindi ready yung budget ng Pilipinas. So that, in that case, naitama yun sa pinupush niya sa Redditor time wherein siya yung secretary ng Department of Health. Pinupush niya yung patatag curriculum. So yung patatag curriculum is pinaka-main goal niya is yung nasa option na lang yung senior high school. So either pwede yung nag-graduate ng grade 10, pwede na silang preparation ng college, or pwede hindi sila mag-option na mag-senior high school. So I think yun yung the best na changing ng law.
Next question. Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see in the way the Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
Again,
Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see in the way the Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
okay. So when it comes to media kasi, so, a lot of issues came from media, especially misinformation, especially the misinformation and also, like for example, the misinformation is one major that bakit nag-aaway-aaway yung mga tao ngayon, di ba? Especially, we spend a lot of time in social media, we spend more than 8 hours in social media, without knowing it is very negative impact in our body and also in our life. So, I think we need to improve, improve our literate when it comes to media. So, before we believe in that statement, make sure there is credited references that we ensure that that is legit information.
As mentioned, do you believe that there should be a legal consequence for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
Okay, so yes, I think we have a data privacy act wherein if you not obey the data privacy act, like for example, if you have not not having having mga checklist, di ba? You know, having checklist, permission or permit once na, like for example, kapag nag-picture ka o nag-video ka na walang permission ng isang tao, pwede ka pakasuhan that way. So, we need to ensure that kailangan bago tayo action kailangan bago tayo gumalaw, kailangan bago tayo magpirma or mag-picture, kailangan may mga permit yan. So, tulad ng ginawa ng katulad, di ba? So, bago nga mag-interview, so, binigyan ka ng letter, a permission to video our interview. That way, it is good cases.
Question number 1. On a scale of 1 up to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be and explain it why? 1. Being not patriotic at all. 10. Being extremely patriotic.
I rate my patriotism by 8 out of 10. I am interested with politics and current even when our country is involved. I always admire those politics and public figures who know how to cherish always consider the welfare of Filipinos. One trait of Filipino that always values being hospitable. We know how to welcome and be kind to everyone, not just with the tourists, but also with co-Filipinos. I did not rate myself a perfect because sometimes there happenings or politics decision that against it might be benefit some individuals. But we should always consider things which are beneficial for the major country.
What is the best way to give more attention to the grievances faced by the youth?
Youth nowadays are more involved in current situation of our country. They are aware and mindful of the happenings in the society. They are more courageous in fighting of the right. They instill a principle of freedom of speech, where they voice up their opinions when they feel needed. But this freedom have their inherent limitation. I'm amazed of our every youth nowadays overcome their struggle, especially with the government, but the youth also. We should not always let those grievances ruin our. We should exert more attention, effort of our study. In the way, we will provide better future for the new generation to come. Once will educate, we will know how to become change agents of our society.
If you will give an advice, what advice can give it to someone for them to evaluate the future of our nation?
If I will give advice to someone, I will tell him or her to evaluate the present time to maximize it, as will be a determinant on what our future will be. We as individuals are the one who holds not just on our future, but the future of our nation. It is a bring a peace of and kindness in the society or our nation. We should always consider the future generation, it as the who create the better nation of them.
Can you pinpoint any policies or decision made by the state that you consider mistake, and how do you think will be rectified and improved?
These issues about President confidential fund, I think government expense and budgets for every sector should be known to the public. We individuals are source of government's funds. We contribute of the revenues generation by government through the payment of tax. A simple purchase of ballpen, we already pay the tax. That's why we have the right notes where three of funds are disturbed. Confidential funds violates the transparency and actuality among government officials. Government eventuaries should be always the document the funds should be benefit our country. It is always for own interest of politics. If I will change or suggest improvement of the Philippines, portrayed in the media both nationally and internationally, in the Philippines, working is the way of achieve the global competency. That's an economy, always capability of the Filipino. Filipino are active in international competition, and most of them securing good spot in competition. Philippines confirms of all Filipinos and excel in every fields, arts and science that always be proud of.
Are there specific improvements or change we would like to see in the way the Philippines is portrayed in media both nationally and internationally?
If I will change or suggest an improvement on how Philippines portrayed in media both nationally and internationally, it is how the Philippines working in a way to achieve the global competency, not just economy but also the capabilities of every Filipino. Our country is not a developed country. Some of countries view it as small countries where economies is nothing compared to America and China. But they don't know the Philippines is doing its best to be outstanding country in terms of an economy. Science and industrialization, Philippines might be the outstanding in the global competitiveness, but the Filipinos are not proving that we're not Filipinos. Why don't have anything? We excel many ways like sports, pageants, science and invention, dance competition, and literacy prizes. Filipinos are active internationally, securing a good spot in the competition. Philippines comprise of Filipino that excel in every field of art and science. That should be always be proud of.
Do you believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
I believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information. I mentioned earlier that we Filipinos are granted with the freedom of the speech. It does not have limitation, but our individuals should be that limitation. We should be know that our voicing out its right of that always favor providing legal consequences for spreading false information. It is a limitation for every action of individual. We can express our opinions as much wanted. We must aware of our consequences. Public discourse are created to disseminate information and allow individuals to express their thought and opinion regarding a matter that always should be always be responsible of our action and decision. What we should disseminate must be based on fact, reliable source because of our unity. Just a public discourse, but also reputation of individual involved that we should always remember that the words opinion that express are knives that could hurt of the harm of someone.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be and explain it why? 1 being not patriotic at all and 10 being extremely patriotic.
I'll give myself my act, my values, my respect on how patriotic I am, Ethan. Because I'm living my life in our country, not only by my personal boundaries and personal interests, but also by the law. Because for not valuating any kind of laws has huge impact for the country for it to be more respectful and peaceful as it should be.
What is the best way to give more attention to the grievance faced by the youth?
The best way is by only having a power, I guess. Having a power to voice it out, to let others know from the things that is real right through social media or any kind of platforms where the youth has more power to maximizing their type of era.
If you would give an advice, what advice can you give to someone for them to value the future of the nation?
First, be educated not only by the books, but also by your surroundings. Be more vigilant from things that seems fishy. And live the best your life in your present and have the optimistic mind that helps yourself also and others. And most important is to have the sympathy for the nations, not in your idols. So stop quitting idolizing person. Start loving the beautiful world of righteousness.
Can you pinpoint any policies or decisions made by the state that you consider mistakes, and how do you think they could be rectified or improved?
Especially right now, by not focusing from what the country is facing and still not giving it the importances. Always putting everything into politics. And also from being not so transparent for the people, or should I say country itself. So I think could be rectified or improved. So they should stop the idea of politics, of course, and start what is the best thing to resolve the problem as it is.
Last question. Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see in the way the Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
These are very good questions. It's a huge impact actually right now from our country. So I guess I want to have a transparency in everything that the governments do, not unless it is exclusive or confidential. Because right now our country needs the reassurance from everything that happened before, from the last leader. That's all.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be and explain it why? Being not a patriotic at all, then being extremely patriotic.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm pwede English, pwede Tagalog.
Pwede naman.
I would give a rating of 8. I am simply in progress and challenges that our country have faced. No? So, yun, pwede practice.
Pwede.
So yun, may mga challenges at there are some measures that have to be addressed and changed.
What is the best way to give more attention to the grievances faced by the youth?
In order to address the grievances and concerns of there is a need for an open forum o yung mga feedback mechanism para to reach out the concern and to address the concern of the need and yung pangangailangan ng mga kabataan.
If you will give an advice, what advice can you give to someone for them the valued future of our nation?
I would say that the government must give prioritization for the education and welfare of the youth. And so they can actively participate in the formation of their well-being.
Can you pinpoint any policies or decisions made by the state that to consider mistakes, and how do you think they could be rectified or improved?
There is a need for the realignment of budget or funds for education to address the need for more budget for education and health, and also give more budget to this education and health. So we will have a good future.
Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see the Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
I would like to see the media portraying the Philippines in a good and balanced portrayal in terms of good economic policies and positive contributions in terms of not only culture but also economic policies.
Do you believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
Yes, there is a need to punish those who are spreading false news and information, because this can harm the public perception, not only to the local but also to to foreign observers and to other countries. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po.
On scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be and explain it why? 1 being not patriotic at all, 10 being extremely patriotic.
I think it's 8 because I've been in this field for almost 2 decades and we are considered frontliner during the pandemic.
What is the best way to give more attention to the grievances faced by the youth?
The best way to give attention to the grievances of the youth is to guide them and let them know what should they do if they face challenges such as injustice.
If you would give an advice, what advice can you give to someone for them to value the future of our nation?
I must say that you are one of the future of this nation, meaning giving value for your nation means valuing your future also.
Can you pinpoint any policies or decisions made by the state that you consider mistakes? And how do you think they could be rectified or improved?
On my opinion is the DSWD programs. Kasi natututo silang umasa at nagiging tamad yung mga tao. The best way to improve siguro is livelihood programs. Turuan silang maghanap buhay.
Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see in the way the Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
I would like it to be transparent in terms of its people because we have the right to know the truth.
Do you believe that there should be a legal consequence for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
Yes, I think so. Um, Spreading false information can easily affect in this generation. We have an easy access to the information through online.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Here's your first question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how patriotic do you consider yourself to be? And explain it why. 1 being not patriotic at all, and 10 being extremely patriotic.
I think it's 8. I consider myself patriotic, but not that extremely patriotic.
What is the best way to give more attention to the grievances faced by the youth?
We can utilize the Sangguniang Kabataan as they are youth-led organization. Open community forums or start dialogues in social media. We can do that.
Your third question, sir. If you would give an advice, what advice can you give to someone for them to value the future of our nation?
Stay informed. Watch news. Engage in civic activities. It's fun.
Can you pinpoint any policies or decisions made by the state that you consider mistakes? And how do you think they could be rectified or improved?
Okay, I'm not really comfortable in discussing this matter, but in general, addressing mistakes in policies often involve transparent evaluation, public input, and adaptive governance.
Your fifth question, sir. Are there specific improvements or changes you would like to see in the Philippines, the way Philippines is portrayed in media, both nationally and internationally?
Okay. It's crucial to emphasize our nation's rich cultural heritage, commitment to sustainable development, and also highlight the government efforts in addressing challenges.
Your last question, sir. Do you believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
Yes, absolutely. However, striking a balance between free speech and preventing harm is a challenge.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, that's all.
because many people immediately believe it when others have already believed it. Many will be affected by the misconception, so we need to prevent it through a law about it.
According to Wardle and Dirakshan 2017, the spread of fake news on the internet is a cause of a great concern for all the members of the society, including the government, policymakers, organization, business, and citizens. Fake news is specifically designed to plant a seed of mistrust and exacerbate the existing social and cultural dynamics of by misreading the political, regional, and religious undercurrent. So for me, I agree that there should be legal consequences to someone who spreads fake information that can harm everyone. Disseminating false information can cause arguments, disputes, distortion of people beliefs, and on a serious level, undermine stable democracy. In every action that we perform, there should be a equal consequences that should be faced by the doer of the action. As the fake news lead to a serious and harmful circumstances that can be detrimental to our society. I believe that legal consequences should be enforced to the initiators and perpetrators. Fine should be imposed or detention if such misinformation or disinformation lead to a massive damage of reputation or misleading the public. Through this, we can able to minimize the spread of false information in our society, which will help us to be well-informed citizen, especially about the real happenings in our world that are able to play a part in the betterment of our country.
According to James Hogan, climate change is not the most important issue we face today. It is a toxic cloud of opposing language, propaganda, and division that hinders conversation and debate, causing resistance to change and impeding our ability to solve our collective problems. I believe that there should be legal consequences for false information that can harm public discourse because social media is one broad range of communication that we had in this generation. A single post or information that you shared publicly can reach thousands or millions of people that might cause them to think differently or can affect them mentally, emotionally, and socially.
Fake news or false information makes the truth hard to find and can also be one of the leading sources of danger to personal security. Understanding the nuances of fake news can help us recognize it and mitigate its harmful effects. Therefore, I firmly believe that there should be legal consequences for those who spread fake news or false information so that anybody will be aware of what they are posting, especially on social medias.
Do you believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information that can harm public discourse?
According to each law, at the same time, ang constant misinformation will be lead to social disorder and the prevalence of negative emotion. I believe that should be illegal consequences. Fake news or information disorder makes the truth hard to find and can also be one of the leading resources of danger to personal security. Understanding the nuances of fake news can help us recognize it and mitigate harmful effects. Generally speaking, fake news is a false promote as if it were true. Historically, fake news was usually propaganda put out by those in power and create a certain beliefs or support a certain position even it was a completely false.
Do you believe that there should be a legal consequences for spreading false information that can harm public discourse? For me, yes. There is a valid argument for legal consequences to deter the spread of false information that can harm public discourse. Accountability and discourage the dissemination of harmful misinformation, fostering a more informed and responsible public discourse.